What is the right action for each one of us in our daily life, in our occupations and so on? What is the right action? What is the correct way of living? If you challenge yourselves, and I hope you are doing it now, what are you to do? So we have to inquire, what is action? Right? What do we mean by that word, action? Whether you are married, whether you are not married, whether you are in office, whether you are fairly well off and independent and so on, so on, so on. What is correct thing to do in my life? Facing all this. Not according to any pattern. Obviously, that's not correct action. Not based on certain ideologies. That also is not correct action, because those ideologies are projected by thought. Clever, cunning thought. And action based according to certain authority, whether religious, political, or your own particular authority based on your own experience and knowledge. That's neither correct action. Please understand all this. Because if you base your action on your own experience, then your experience is very limited. And you are constantly demanding greater and greater and greater experience, which is greater and greater sensation, not experience. The word experience means to go through, finish with something. And action based on a past conclusion, however right, however worthy, but is still from the past, and therefore still limited in terms of time. Or if your action is based on a future conclusion, or a future ideology, or a future ideal, that again is not correct action, because you have projected the ideal, what you should be, what your country should be, or what your group should be, and act according to what should be. Therefore, you are not acting at all. Action implies doing something now, independent of the past and the future. This is really quite fascinating and tremendously interesting, if I may use these words, which are not correct words, but doesn't matter for the moment, to find out for oneself, is there an action totally devoid of time? You understand? Time being the past, with all my memories, knowledge, experience stored up in the brain as memory, and acting according to that memory, which is the past acting in the present, or the past which has had so many experiences, so many failures, so many anxieties, fears, sorrow, projects something in the future as ideological, what should be, how happy it would be, and act according to that. which again is non-action. Right? At least let's meet together intellectually even. Then if we understand that intellectually, then we can go still deeper into it. At least we can understand each other at that level, which is very limited. Then, is there an action in daily life, in our daily relationship with each other, intimate or not intimate, sexual or not sexual? Is there an action which will be holistic, whole, which is not dependent on time, on environment, on circumstances? So we are challenging, is there such an action? Or we only know action based on the past or on the future. We don't know any other action. And we accept such action. It's much more convenient, more comfortable, easy to accept such action. So we are challenging each other to find out if it is possible to live a life of correct action which is not dependent on environment, on circumstances, on the past or on the future. You understand, this most difficult thing to find out. When you want to find out such an action, if there is such an action, thought immediately begins to operate. Thought says, is there such a thing? I must inquire. So thought is the past, isn't it? Thought is the outcome of memory. Thought is the result of your experience, accumulated knowledge, and from that arises memory, and then from that, the reaction of that memory is thinking. That's simple, very simple if you go into it. It's not complicated. So, when we challenge it, when there is such a challenge as saying, is there action which is not dependent on the past or the future or on environment, circumstances, then thought begins to operate. Right? That's what you're doing. Then thought says, I must find out such action. Since thought cannot find such action, you say that's impossible. You're following all this? Am I talking, we're all together in this, or am I talking to myself? I can do that in my room, but I don't anyhow. But so